Today I will be comparatively analysing two models of education. First is Montessori's model of education, a philosophy of child development and a rationale for guiding such growth. The second model of education is from my own personal experience at Toowoomba State School. Montessori school students are encouraged to think divergently, which allows them to access their individuality. This increases their desire and capacity to learn, which is the foundation of learning within the Montessori school model. Children are given respect and responsibility, they are self-guided, and they are to work as if the teacher didn't exist. This perfectly portrays that the Montessori model of education strongly values the child as an individual and teaching students how they fit in the bigger picture. The Montessori model of education addresses the metaphysical element of the philosophical framework. Specifically, it is focused upon anthropology, the nature of humanity, and how to educate children while catering to who they are individually. Personally, during my own primary schooling experience, I found the nature of the child to include some expression of their individuality. However, throughout most, if not all, of curriculum work, students were expected to engage in content, adhere to certain learning methods, and achieve particular marks. This portrays the idea that students are not unvalued, however, a certain level needs to be achieved by all students. The goal of the Montessori model of education is to take full advantage of students' potential. The Montessori model mirrors real-world scenarios, engaging students in self-guided learning to equip them with real-world skills. It is founded upon respect for the child's independence and emphasizes the importance of personal responsibility. The goal of the Montessori model of education values the student as a unique individual and fully employing their given potential. It assumes that students can work in an open plan, self-guided, and loosely structured environment. The goal of the Montessori educational model addresses both the epistemological, which is true, worth teaching, and of real knowledge, as well as the axiological element of the philosophical framework, what is of value. I interpreted the goal of my primary education to be was that to achieve the expectations of the higher authority, either the principal, the state government, or the federal government. Perhaps the goal was not to standardize all students, as I feel I did have an opportunity to be myself. However, learning styles and testing results were not of a large variety, as one teacher had to cater for a lot of students. The goal of my primary education was learning in whichever style it comes from the teacher, engaging with content and marking items of the curriculum. The role of the teacher within the Montessori model is to be a guide, a gentle support for students. The teacher moves around the room working with the students, ensuring that the students are working on what they need to be in order to move forward and progress to the different levels. The role of the teacher within this model displays that the teachers are to come alongside students and assist their learning rather than instruct it. The Montessori model of education addresses the metaphysical element of the philosophical framework, specifically anthropology, as teachers interact with students. The axiological element is also addressed as teachers' attitudes regarding the value of individual students is critical within the Montessori model. The role of the teacher within my primary schooling context was to adapt to a teaching style to use whilst creating engaging content for students, creating relationships with students to assist them as much as possible, whilst also teaching the whole class of approximately 30 students. I feel as though the role of the teacher within my context was to create relationships with students and try to engage everyone as best as they could. The Montessori model focuses on the subject areas of language, literacy, cultural, creative, maths, sensorial, and core practical skills. The Montessori model was recognized by the Australian Curriculum and Assessment Reporting Authority as an alternative national curriculum framework which can deliver comparable results to the Australian curriculum itself. The curricular emphasis of the Montessori model reinstates the idea of preparing students for exploring the bigger picture. The curricular emphasis of knowledge and truth within the Montessori model addresses the epistemological element of the philosophical framework. During my primary schooling experience, emphasis was placed upon the Australian curriculum and to follow the guidelines set out by the school. The idea of truth did not reflect a biblical perspective and was not overly discussed. The concept of truth was most likely based off common morals. These ideas represent the belief that authority knows best. Well-researched and proven arguments can be counted as truth, and good morals is the extent of truth. The Montessori model hosts a number of unique teaching approaches. Mixed-age classrooms with the 3-year age bracket allows for student mentoring, reflection, and expectation as students work together with students that are both younger and older than them. This allows students to see what they are doing and how it fits into the bigger picture. Students take ownership of their learning and are encouraged to follow their interests. They have freedom with responsibility and choice with limits to those choices. The teaching approaches made within the Montessori model of education places significance upon each child and their full potential, rather than defining a student by age, comparison between other students, and pace rather than desire or capacity to learn. Montessori model's unique teaching approaches address all three elements of the philosophical framework: metaphysics, the nature of reality; epistemology, the nature, sources, and validity of knowledge; and axiology, what is of value. Teaching approaches used within my primary schooling ranged from different teaching methodologies that teachers had adapted. As many of the teachers had been there for quite a while, usually their normal routine or habits were used on each class from year to year. This shows that teachers use what they have found worked in the past and hoping it would work on current students and students of the future. Both the Montessori educational model and my own primary schooling experience are and were influenced by socio-cultural context. In both models of education, education itself is valued. Students were put within those schools by their parents in order for them to learn and develop in the environment that they considered best. Some parents may not be aware of the Montessori model of education and the benefits that it can provide for some students, as it is well known for assisting individuals to excel in every area of their education in a style with choice and freedom. A primary school like the one that I attended is also beneficial for students, as teachers really did care and tried to cater to the individual needs as well as teaching the whole class. Both models of education are used in teaching students from wide varieties of socio-cultural contexts. So Bronfenbrenner's model relates and affects to each individual student that goes through the schooling within any model of education. Neither of the discussed educational models present a Christian perspective. However, through the various categories throughout which the models were analyzed, there are underlying Christian morals or truths displayed. Within the Montessori model, students are valued, respected, and treated as an individual. Throughout the analysis of my own primary school, within the Montessori model, students are valued, respected, and treated as an individual. Throughout the analysis of my own primary schooling context, it can be easily observed that students are at risk of becoming one of the many. However, the teachers were particularly motivated to build relationships with students as individuals and attempt to cater for them individually. Thank you for listening.